Hello Dominators, Domination Tips reporting back for duty. Below my last video, I think it was quite about the Enlightenment Age base layout, but I'm not quite sure. There was a huge demand after some World War layouts, and before I was not putting some focus or some aim on the World War or even metal protecting base layouts, but I want to recover it. And oh, my troops are finally trained. Let's first take a look at the World War and donate some more troops, and then we can go just right into the base layout. Okay. One artillery missing, I think. Yes, one artillery missing. And here's everything shut down. Looks great. Oh, there are some troops missing. Only 3 troops, 2 artillery are missing. What have I got for troops? Perfectly. Very, very perfect. One place open, okay. And again, okay. So, guys, my today's topic, or two evenings topic, I should say, is the Worldwar Base layout, or even the metal protecting base layout. So we will deal about, or we will concern another type of base layout. So I had to change my list points. I'm always going through to describe and to explain the base a little bit, because there are no resource buildings to protect, and when you're not building protecting resource buildings, there are some other main focuses on this base. But first, let us go to the base layout. Over here, I made my little graphic for you. Come on, full resolution. Yes, now it's full resolution. When we were talking about metal protecting base layouts for players who are playing for a high league bonus, or even for players who want to have strong bases in the World War, there is quite another focus, and the focus is protecting your town center. If the enemy is strong enough, he or she will completely destroy your base. That's quite no question. And I think very many players are able to destroy your whole base. But destroying the whole base is quite only a factor to get 4 stars. The full 5-star domination, it can only be reached by destroying 50% of all buildings in the base, or even destroying the town center within 60 seconds. Yes, there is also a 5th chapter of Banner, or of Ben, I don't know what's the name in English. I think the chapter is called Banning, and the 5th chapter of it, or the book Banner, and the 5th chapter gives you 15 extra seconds to get the quick victory. But the base we are looking now at is the Worldwar base for the Gunpowder Age. It's again, the example is made by a player out of my alliance, which is maxed at the Gunpowder Age. No building can be upgraded anymore. Everything is done. Only some library research to do, and so also the +5 wall limit is researched. If you don't have this extra amount of 5 walls, here you see 2 pieces of wall which have no use, and you can also just take this double layer of wall and put it right inside the base. 1 piece or 1 space right inside the base, and the effect is quite nearly the same, but you don't have to waste that much parts of the wall, because this part of the wall is going away, and you can just put these 4 parts of wall right inside, and you have the same effect. Now, let's talk about the base layout, and first we will start again. Let me look it up in my list. We will first start with the defensive buildings, yes, and their position. Again, you can see in my graphics that the mortars are quite the most important defensive buildings you have, because they are decimating or killing enemy troops like enemy infantry and enemy range distance fighters like marksmen, which are supporting the main troops like tanks and artillery, cannons, bombards, whatever it's called, depending on your age. And if you are able to kill the ranged troops early enough in the game, the other troops are just simply getting overwhelmed. Even if they are infantry, tanks, or cannons, healing cards, all of the troops are getting overwhelmed if you have no ranged siege or ranged marksmen with you which are supporting. Therefore, our mortars, again, like in all videos before, are our main weapons, which have to be placed right inside the base, in the center of the base. You can see the mortars are placed right inside the base, and it's really hard for an attacker to attack the mortars right from the outside of the base. Let's look it up. From this side, there are definitely more than 5 space. So from this side, you're not able to attack the mortars right from the outer side without destroying a wall. You have to destroy the walls to get access to the mortars. From the right side, and even from the opposite side, from the mirror side, from the left, you have to take 1, 2, 3, 4 space to get access to the mortars. And so only cannons, artilleries, and British ranged troops like the British Yeomanry or Blackwatch are able to shoot over these walls, and the mortars are quite good protected inside the walls. You can see at the front, the top mortar is quite unprotected. Here we have also only one wall layer, but just because of the location of the traps, you are probably able to anticipate that this is just on purpose, the space layout, and I will later explain it in which combination the Versailles and this attractive place to attack for an enemy attacker with only one wall layer are working together and cooperating. So first, the mortars are quite good defended, because also here are some traps which function I will later explain. The next I want to tell you, look at the right circles, which marks or which explains the range of the mortars. The complete base, again, like the resource protecting base, is shut down by the mortar range, because the mortars are able to fire even widely before the enemy troops are reaching the walls. So enemy troops are getting under fire before they reach the outer walls of your base. That's really great, because there is no hidden spot which can be attacked without getting attacked by the mortars. And also the next very, very nice fact, again, look at the ranges of the mortars. The mortars are placed that near together, that close together, that all of the mortars are sharing their ranges of fire, so they can cooperate and defend each other mortar. If this mortar gets attacked, you can see even the left side mortar, which range is this over here. Oh no. Oh, now it's probably better. We could let this style. This is the range of the left side mortar, and here is the range of the top mortar, and both mortars are able to fire at enemy attackers which are attacking this mortar. Same, it's logical, on the left side, and even same on the top mortar. So the mortars are protecting each other. Next point. Compensation of weaknesses. There are some weaknesses, and I will explain it again. If some of you viewers have not viewed my earlier videos about the resource protecting layouts, mortars are buildings which have the hugest range in the complete game of shooting buildings. So the range of shooting is the most with the mortars, or the highest at the mortar buildings, and so they are very, very effective, and also because of the area of damage, they are able to deal a huge amount of damage to enemy infantry and to enemy ranged troops like the marksmen. And so they are only dealing a very, very little amount of damage, but this amount of damage to a very huge amount of troops which are all in the space or in the area of the projectile which is just hitting the ground. So they are very effective against a huge amount of enemies which have not very many hit points. What is logical now is the mortars are also very, very they are very, very weak against enemy cavalry and tanks, which units have a very little amount, but they have very many hit points, so they are very strong and durable, and the mortars are nearly not able to deal any damage at them. Therefore, we have our cannon towers over here, and again the cannon towers are placed in the direction that they can cooperate with the mortars and work together. You can see the right cannon tower is perfectly protecting the right mortar, the left cannon tower is protecting the left mortar, and both cannon towers together are working to defend or to protect the top mortar or the front mortar. Because in Gunpowder Age you only have two cannon towers, and you get the third one first in the Enlightenment Age. Therefore, it's very strategical to place them in the right location to get 3 mortars protected by 2 cannon towers, and other way around to let 3 mortars protect these 2 cannon towers, because the cannon towers are only firing every 3 seconds, and when they are attacking, they are only giving single target hit. So only one target is getting focused, and they have a very, very strong attack, but only against one target, and then again 3 seconds are getting last, and before they can shoot again. Therefore, it's very important to place the mortar and the cannon tower right into these combinations so that they can protect each other with their ranges. Next, I want to talk with you about the redoubts. The redoubts are at a very strategic position at the outer side. I will later explain. And the position of the redoubts is very important because of our defenders. Because our defenders are running through the base, and when they are running through the base, I will later explain to you why the defenders are working together with redoubts, but only in the combination in which the gates are placed. So if the gates are placed in another way, the redoubts will not work in the same direction or in the same effective way. Therefore, let's skip this point for later. Let's talk about the traps. We have 2 remaining traps we are not using, just at the bottom side to slow down, to make it enemy defenders harder to attack from the side in which our castle and all of our defender spawning buildings stay. Our main traps are at the front side of the building, and now I will explain to you, like you probably have recognized and anticipated, the Versailles is just working together with these traps over here. If you watch this base layout closely, you will see we have nearly everywhere at the base 2 layers of walls which are protecting our town center. We have the first layer of wall, like you can see over here, I'm tapping it. It's the first layer which protects our base layout, and then we have the outer side, the outer line of walls which are protecting our town center. So, without crashing any wall, you are not able to get any access to the town center. Only in front of our base there is one very, very attractive way to get inside the base layout with only crashing one wall. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to make the enemy this way of attacking very attractive, because all of our traps are placed here, and we have the Versailles. Remember, guys, or even girls, the Versailles is working as a big caltrop trap, and I will laterly, at the point of World Wonders, explain what the Versailles is doing. But first, we have the caltrops placed that far from another away. I have to get one point, I missed it. The mortars are placed really close together so that they can protect each other, but they are not placed so close to another that you can disable 2 mortars with 1 sabotage. So they are very close together, but far enough away from each other that you have to use 1, 2, 3 sabotage tactics and cannot use 1 for 2 mortars. Back to the traps. We have placed our caltrop traps nearly like the mortars, so far from another way that their range is maximized, but also that they are not sharing most of the same space. Like these caltrop traps are protecting this range, the center caltrop traps are protecting this range, and the same at the right side. So we have a maximum range of protected area by these caltrop traps, even when troops are attacking for the mortar, which will be the first rally when an enemy is attacking from the front side. Then we have some spike traps over here for enemy cavalry, because the cavalry and tanks have the littlest amount of range. They will just run or attack in front of all other troops and run right inside these traps, hopefully getting destroyed before able to attack the walls. Another helpful or efficient point of the caltrop traps is, like every time mentioned, the caltrop traps have 2 main functions. The first function is to slow the enemy down and makes him last more time to get to the town center. And the second point is they are decreasing the enemy damage. So at least they are slowing the enemy down by 40%, I think, and they are weakening or decreasing the enemy attack by also 40%. So at least you can multiply 40% by 40%, and you are nearly getting at 25% or 30% of the ordinary damage from the enemy. When he stays inside the culture traps, he will only deal 25 up to 30% of his ordinary damage to the walls. So the front walls are very, very much stronger than they are ordinary, just only because we have our culture traps here, which makes the enemy slower and even weaker by attacking the walls. Then we have some ambush traps right inside, just only as last opportunity when the enemy is just inside to slow him down or even distract him or confuse, whatever. They are not that much important. The next point I want to mention is the World Wonder. Okay, now we are coming to the World Wonders. Let's start. We are just in the front. Let's go over here. The Versailles. The Versailles is working as a big caltrop trap. Like I told you, they are not. The Versailles is just not decreasing the enemy damage, but therefore it has a very huge range instead of the small caltrop traps. And within this range, the enemies are getting slowed down by 40 or I think 45%, nearly the same, if not even more than the caltrop traps. So you see the range of the Versailles. There's a very, very big range in front of the base where all enemy troops are getting slowed down. And now remember, guys, I'm always telling that to you. The Versailles and the Acropolis are two of the little amount of world wonders which cannot be destroyed, or I have told it in the wrong way. They can be destroyed, but their effects are staying active even when they got destroyed. So no matter, this Acropolis and this Versailles will always stay active during the complete attack. So if the enemy destroys it and runs 5 times over the ruins of the Versailles, he will always getting slowed down by the Versailles because the range and the slowing down effect will always stay active. Therefore, the position is really, really important. And you see when the enemy is attacking from the front, when the troops are entering the range of the Versailles, they are getting slowed down, and our towers and our mortar have more time to shoot at the enemy invaders. That's very important. So let's go over to the Acropolis. Like I mentioned, the Acropolis can be destroyed, but even if it gets destroyed, you see, we have all, and that's very important and very, very strong in this base layout. We have all available in defender spawning buildings right inside the range. We have 4 garrisons, 3 stables, the command post, and even the Coliseum. All are right inside the range of the Acropolis. The main functions, there are 2 of the Acropolis, is the enemy or our troops which are getting spawned by our garrisons, command post, Coliseum, and stables have an hit point. Have additional hit points of 15%. So the hit points of all of our spawn troops, every wave will get plus 15% more hit points and are way more durable. Especially the cavalry, which is spawned by our stables, because they ordinarily have just very many hit points. The 15% additional hit points are very many more than with by the infantry. The second function of the Acropolis is every defender spawning building which is inside the range of the Acropolis spawns defenders 20% faster. So when you are attacking from this side or even getting inside the range of one of these garrison stables, command post, whatever, the troops are getting spawned very, very much faster than ordinary if there would be no Acropolis right in the way. And it's during the whole game, during the whole attack, when you get attacked, all troops are spawning very, very much faster, because the Acropolis, no matter whether it's destroyed or whether it's just staying alive, the effect is active during the whole attack. And when the stables and garrisons are not getting destroyed, they are the whole time of the game producing some infantry and some cavalry. That's very, very strong, especially because we have all defender spawning buildings right inside of the range. That's the most strong aspect, I think, of this base layout. So we have 2 opportunities for an enemy to attack from the front side and from the backside. From the front side, we have the complete position of our base layout, a little bit more at this side of the base, because to make it more attractive to attack from over here, and a little bit more space right over here with very many more buildings, which have some additional hit points before you can get in range of the town center from the backside, and all of our defender spawning buildings. When you are attacked from one of the right or from one of the left side, it's not very wise, because if you are attacking from this side, you have to get through 2 base layers before you can reach the town center or even some valuable buildings. Yes. Next world wonder we want to talk about is the Coliseum. The Coliseum has, like I also told you in some other videos, the hugest amount or the hugest range. So I think the range is right about here, and it's covering the whole base. So it's not really important to where to place it. The most important fact for me or for this base layout was to place it right inside the range of the Acropolis, because it's nearly at all time like it's when it's active spawning defenders. So we have all world wonders told about. Now let's talk about the walls. There are 2 very important facts about the walls. If you have 2 wall layers instantly or very directly close to another, then it's very important to get the more higher or the higher amount or the higher walls right at the inside. Let's think about when a wall sapper is now coming. The wall sapper nearly all time, if your walls are not at level 12 or even higher, which is quite utopic, only very few players have this, and even not in the Gunpowder Age, so forget about it. If a wall sapper is coming, he will definitely crash the outer side of the wall. When you have now your stronger wall at the outer side, it will definitely get crashed, and the inner side of the wall is right weaker than the outer side. But if you have your weaker wall outside, it doesn't matter. The wall sapper will crash the wall, but then the more durable or the higher wall is just at the inner side, at the inside, and you have to get through it. Therefore, if you have 2 walls directly close to another, put the stronger wall at the inside. But if you have them not close together, like where can we see it? Over here, if the walls are not that close together, they are directly next to the other, then it's more important to get the stronger wall at the outside. Because when this, let's see, if this layer of wall, the inner layer, would be very strong and the higher wall, these are level 6 walls and these are level 7 walls, then it would be right a problem, because if the enemy would have invaded this space over here, the outer wall, he have broken the outer wall, he would be able to fire at the town center, and the most damage dealing enemy troops are some artilleries, and even the ranged infantry can shoot over this wall. So the inner wall layer has no point and no importance, because the troops are just simply shooting about it. So if the walls are very close to another, put the stronger walls inside. If they are not close together, put the stronger walls at the outside. Another very important focus we want to talk about are the gates. The gates are always weaker if they are on the same stage or on the same level like our walls. When I will enter the next age, I will show you all stages of the wall, from wall 1 up to wall level 13, I think. But it's taking some time before I enter the next age, but then I will do a tutorial for you how to upgrade your walls and where to put some focus on. Now I can only tell you that if you have this gates are at level 9, this wall's at level 6, and this wall's at level 7, I think. No, level 7 and level 8. That's around. Okay, yes. The level 9 walls are red and white. So, the gates, if they are on the same level like the walls, they are always weaker than the walls. That's a problem. So, in my opinion, it's very important to get all of your gates always 1, probably 2, or even, if you want to do it, 3 levels higher than the rest of your walls, because then the gates are no weaknesses in your base. They are just as strong as your walls are. If you want to prove it, just look at my base layout. Probably at the beginning of this video, you will see my walls are at level 10 and at level 11, but my gates are all at level 13 or 14, I think. And yes, I'm also doing this kind of upgrading style. The next point, the gates are very, very important in the World War. It's just starting in the Enlightenment Age, where the gates are getting very important, but we are also dealing this topic right here in the Gunpowder Age. In the Enlightenment Age, you get here the factory, I think, and you can produce right in the factory some saboteurs, or they are, if depending on their stage of upgrading, they are called in another way, but in one specific stage, they are called saboteurs, and their function is they have very, very many hit points, only melee range, so no range, but they are just passing your gates without getting shot by cannon towers, mortars, redoubts, or towers. They are only activating the town center and defender spawning buildings, and they are just able to pass gates and not deal any damage at the walls before getting in, and they can just simply erase all of you, or even one by one defensive building with one attack. Instead, I think only with exception for the castle, they can destroy every other defending building just by one attack. So they are very, very sneaky because they are passing your gates. Therefore, it's really important to get some traps in front of your gates. We have a trap in front of the gate, and here also, there is a spike trap in front of the gate. But at this side and at this side, we have no spike traps in front of the gates. But it's on purpose, because when the enemy saboteur is just invading this gate, or even at the other side, it's quite the same. He gets right over here, and then he is inside the range of the town center. When we are now talking about the World War, it's ordinary. It's in our case, and when the Teletubbies are playing World War My Alliance, it's very just ordinary, and all the time we have artillery or even cannons or whatever donated in the town center. So when the enemy saboteur is just entering this space over here, he will activate the town center. The cannons are coming outside and will immediately shoot him down. Then the enemy has nearly lost if he has no planes, because he has activated the town center and very strong defenders are coming out from it. So we don't have to have any spike traps right over here and at the right side, only at the front side and at our back. That was the point of gates and the right placement. There's another point I want to mention. We have these gates are placed on purpose in this way. They are placed right here at the inner wall layer and at the outer wall layer. And here is the redoubt. When our troops, all of our defender troops, which are spawned at the back of our base, let's see when the enemy would attack from this side. At a specific point, he would activate just all defending troops from the backside over here. And when they are getting towards the enemy attackers, they are running just inside the base, and probably if the enemy is outside of the base, they would probably use these gates. And when they are using these gates, the enemy marksmen are getting attracted by them and running towards our infantry. And when our infantry is sneaking or running through our base, the enemy troops are getting attracted and getting into the range of the redoubts. Therefore, the redoubts are placed right between both gates, and when they are getting activated, they are just killing every infantry and every marksman within their range very, very fast. That's the point of placing our gates at this position. Okay, we have one last point, which is probably very important for you. It's the space you have available because of getting rid of the forests and exploration. I think it's called exploration. In this case, we have a very huge stage of exploration. There are very, very many forests cleaned and very, very much space to place our buildings. Therefore, you can see we have our buildings very much spread out, and the maximum of range or space between the buildings to make it the enemy to cost the enemy more time when he attacks the space. If you have not that much of space to place or to spread out all of your buildings, you can also take some of your houses and put 2 houses over here right inside the base and 2 houses over here. They have no defensive use, but these are additional hit points which the enemy has to destroy before he can attack your very important buildings. And even if the houses have not very many hit points, when the enemy needs 2 or 3 seconds more to destroy them before he shoots at the mortar, these are 2 or 3 additional seconds which are costed by the enemy, and 2 or 3 additional seconds in which your defensive buildings can shoot longer. That's very, very important in some situations. So, depending on your stage of exploration, it's very important to place the complete base layout in the very center, so that this wall layer is not completely at the outer side, because if this wall would be complete at the outer side, or even the left wall, the enemy could just place his cannons or artillery or bombards right over there and kill these mortar or these towers instantly. So make sure to have your complete base layout right at the center of your available space, and make sure to make this distance over here towards your walls shorter than this distance, because otherwise you make it for the enemy too much attractive to attack from this side, and our main focus is to make it attractive for the enemy to attack from this side. So guys, that was everything about this base layout. Because it's a World War base layout and it's not active during the ordinary game, we have no defensive logs for you, or I have no defensive logs to show it to you. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, any concerns or anything other, just give it right to me down in the comment section. I appreciate getting feedback from you. In a few days, I think next week, sometime next week, the Enlightenment Age war base layout will follow. And yes, guys, we'll see us soon. Your domination tips.